it's Lindsay Rodriguez, and I am here today with Marriage Monday. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and Marriage Monday is just something I decided to do where I give a little short tidbit every week to help improve your relationships. And this is not just for marriages, but it can be in your work environment, with friends, with, of course, with your partner, parenting, all of the above. So just typically relationship advice. We have been talking about the 4 horsemen that the Gottmans have developed as huge determining factors of if your relationship is successful or harmful. So the 4 horsemen are some communication patterns or styles that we really, really want to work to get rid of in our relationships if we can. If you haven't seen the last 4 videos on this, go watch those in the description below before you watch this one to kind of get caught up. Because today we are on our last 4 horsemen. We are on contempt. Or no, we did contempt last week. That is wrong. We are on stonewalling. And that is what we are on. So let me explain a little bit about what stonewalling is. So stonewalling is sometimes a response when we have contempt, which is what we talked about last week in the relationship, or when the other person simply feels overwhelmed by emotion or by handling emotions that they shut down. So stonewalling looks like withdrawing from a conversation, leaving a room, emotionally withdrawing, or avoiding. Avoiding can look like being really busy at something or distracting ourselves from what's really going on. All of those are forms of stonewalling. A lot of times when the person is stonewalling, they see it as a positive thing for the relationship, or like they're not doing anything to harm or hurt, and so therefore it's a neutral thing in the relationship, right? If I'm having an argument and I leave, drive away, or shut myself in a room or all that, it's typically seen as pretty neutral, like I didn't do anything wrong. I ended the conversation, the argument, right? I left. The issue about stonewalling is it leaves the other person feeling alone in the conversation or in the relationship because the other person has just disappeared, right? You've disappeared if you stonewall, emotionally or physically. And so the other person is left with, now what do I do, right? I can't have this discussion by myself and we have to talk about it. And so, it leaves them feeling alone in the relationship, quite frankly. Stonewalling takes a little bit of time to undo, right? Because if you get in the pattern of shutting down when there's conflict, it's really hard to make yourself stay present in that. We can even have a physiological response to that, like our heart rate can increase in conflict, or we can feel a little shaky, or like we can't think straight, right? If you're used to stonewalling and then all of a sudden you just try to stay in conflict through the whole thing. Also, side note, if you are in a dangerous situation, leaving is absolutely the best thing. I am not saying to stay in a dangerous situation at all. But if we're just having a simple argument or discussion with our, whoever we are, our partner, and we're not able to continue that discussion because we're having a physiological response or because we're uncomfortable with conflict, then that's something that maybe we could start to work on getting better at. So here's some things that you can do if you feel like you stonewall. One is taking a break is always okay. So if you are starting to feel like that and you're starting to feel like we can't finish the conversation and this is about the time that I would normally get out of here, then we can tell our partner, hey, I need 10 minutes or I need 30 minutes, or I'm starting to get really overwhelmed and heightened. And so I'm going to take a walk around the block. The difference between taking a break and stonewalling is that you come back to the discussion when we take a break, right? We're going to re-enter it. We're not going to avoid conflict or avoid our partner, right? Because that's what we're really doing. So taking a break is fine. And you may even set some ground rules with your partner after hearing this. Like you may say, hey, I tend to stonewall, right? I tend to avoid conflict. And so I don't want to do that anymore. I want to work on staying present with you. But I'm probably going to need some breaks as I work on that. And so have that discussion up front so that they don't feel blindsided in that necessarily. And then when you say, I need 15 minutes, or can we finish this in the morning? It's much more understandable for your partner. Lastly, when you do take a break, make sure you come back to the discussion. Set a time where you're going to come back and make sure that you follow up. Because if you're not following up, you've just found another way to stonewall. I hope you like Marriage Mondays, and if you want to continue this discussion or series, hit the subscribe button below.